Well, I have gotten the number what I was looking for. So friends, I hope you had a very good session in the morning. The first one by Dr. Gauri Gargit from IIT Kharagpur. So there were a lot of questions I was hearing, so you people can resolve your question at the end. So you can ask me any doubts you have. So actually, I was hearing like there was a question. I mean, Madam was explaining microorganisms are not patentable, but per se, the discoveries, whatever is in existence are not patentable. But there was a landmark judgment in US Supreme Court way back in 90s. There's a professor called Chakravarti. He was a professor in Illinois University Medicine Department. Chakravarti hails from Bengal and settled in USA. He was the one who developed the the artificial commercial microorganism, and he got a patent over there. So the the US patent law, it says anything made under sun is patentable, right? So without taking the license from Dr. Chakravarti, a company called Diamond was used his invention, and Chakravarti filed a case against this company, and this case went up to US Supreme Court, and Chakravarti has won the case because this particular microorganism, what it does. See, it is microorganism in the sense micro, so we cannot see with our naked eyes. You need to have an instrument to see that. So these microorganisms, what they'll do when you apply, the application part of this microorganism was that, let's say on the seashore, let's say if you go to JNPT here in Mumbai, Jawaharlal Nehru Port Trust. So a lot of ship movement happens there. The logistic transportation and everything. The most of the logistic on the globe happens through the ships. Okay, on the sea. So there is a lot of what do you say, the pollution in the form of oil spillage and everything is there on the those areas. So when you apply this particular microorganism, this micro spills away, it eats away that particular pollution, the oil spillage. So that was the main application of that particular microorganism, and Diamond Chakrabarti won the case, and I was fortunate to meet him in one of the IP conferences at Delhi in early 2000. So friends, anything you create other than what is there in its original form, let's say, I mean, in recent past, people used to talk about, the haldi was patented, neem was patented, basmati was. It was not the product as it is was patented. It is the properties of those products are patented. See, the neem we have got around 30 plus patents were there on neem. It is not the neem tree was patented. It is the properties of neems, the application of those properties were patented. So, I mean, to, make the long story short here. So something which is naturally occurring is not patentable. Okay. If someone discovers another planet, so, because someone who was a great scientist and maybe a great astronaut or astrologist who discovered, so we may name it after him. The planet may be named after his name. So that credit can be given, but otherwise you will not get patent for such kind of things. So, friends, with this background, let me take you to today's class. So I'll be teaching you for another 1 hour about the innovation management and technology transfer and licensing. So innovation manage actually our conference, our workshop title where we have a innovation. So I was wondering the other day, I have not kept the innovation part in the lectures. So I thought of spending at least an half an hour on innovation management. What exactly the innovation? We have defined innovation in the very beginning class, I think. We had a debate also, like, like tangible and intangible, those words. So innovation, I said tangible, but of course, one of our participants was differed with me, and I agree with him. So innovation in service sector, it may not be tangible, right? So the services rendered by the service companies, like, the educational services, banking, finance, hospitality, travel, leisure, and the recent, I mean, due to COVID, we all are buying our product through Amazon, Flipkart, and all this kind of service they give. That is, it's an innovation. End of the day, we feel happy about it. If you are getting a expected product with the expected what do you say, the quality and all, you will be very happy. So it is an experience management. So it is also an innovation. So it is intangible in nature. So friends will see what exactly the innovation and how you will derive the innovation, what happens in that. So what exactly the innovation process? So innovation, as I said, it is a novel final product what we see at the end of the day after putting a lot of thoughts in the process of creating or solving an existing problem, right? So we create, I mean, when we see the end product, so we see, oh, this is the product. But I mean, how much time has been spent by those people who have invented or who have manufactured, who have brought this product to the market? Because there is a chain of, what do you say, stakeholders are involved in this, right? From beginning, from the inventor, the inventor team who put a lot of brainstorming in that and do a lot of ideation, and then testing those ideas and taking them to the lab level and making prototype, then testing into the market, and then making the final product and bringing. So it is a very big process. It is a kind of life cycle kind of thing. With respect to from initiation, we can say lab to land. So there was recently I was reading some paper. It was lab to land. We have a one lab here. We call it as mind to market, M2M, mind to market. So you take something from your thought process, from your intellectual process to the market, so final product. So the innovation process here, so it's a idea or concept that is refined and developed before application. So before you apply or before it make it useful, before it solves the existing problem. So you do a lot of ideation, right? So innovation may be inspired by reality, known problems. Obviously, so one of the saying which says necessity is the mother of invention. So you concentrate on the necessities. Let's say now during this pandemic we are facing a lot of problems, right? So you take one of the problem because that is very necessity for us, like these online classes, for the kids and all. I mean, it's not good to use these kind of gadgets at the younger age. And I don't know, we don't have any other what do you say, the option than this. So I mean, some of the problems, if you want to really solve it, so you can list out those problems and then make the sequence of that, in the sense what is the the main problem, the boggling one, and then concentrate on that, and then do kind of ideation and R&D, and then take a product to the next level of prototype, then bring to the market. So here, so new product development, we also call it as NPD, which leads to useful technology, so which requires, so obviously you have to put in a lot of research into that and then develop it. So R&D, we call R&D, research and development. So you do research and then you develop it, right? Development is upscaling or testing, making prototype, and looking at the feasibility of the technical feasibility, economic feasibility, and everything, right? Then production, and then marketing, and finally obviously when it comes into the market, so people like us, we buy it and then we use it. So we become a consumer here, right? So experience with product result in feedback and leads to incrementally or radically improved innovation. So the other day, one of our friend was talking about the kind of innovations, with respect to the innovative capability of that particular innovation. We call them an incremental innovation, radical innovation, and innovation which are going to bring a system change, or you can say paradigm change. So we have a different layers of innovation. So here, when you make a first product, then you send it to the market, and then the customer will give you the feedback, and then you work on that, you improve upon that, create more value to that existing or the novel product which you have already marketed, right? Then we'll go to the next level, right? So friends, the innovation process, it's not a rocket science here, but every one of us know what exactly happens in the innovation process. So first you will do the analytical planning, and then organizing the resources, and then you implement it, and then you commercialize or make the commercial application out of that particular idea. So basically it is an initiation. So initiation is identifying your problem, not your problem, societal problem, the problem which you can collect from the market, from the society, and then you do a analytical planning, in the sense you do ideation, whatever you can do, you do it here. Then after that, is the next level, you organize the resources to make it happen. Then you implement it. Then you see the workability of that particular invention or the idea, and then make it commercial application. So in analytical planning, basically you have these are the things to identify product, design, market, strategy, financial needs. So here, So here you'll see the feasibility of your particular product from a business sense. So what is the market size? What kind of product you are bringing? So how you are going to get the finance? So basically, it becomes a small venture in itself, right? So you are creating a small venture. In the initiation itself, you will add everything into that. You know the techno-economic feasibility of it, right? Then when you say organizing resources to obtain material, technology, human resource and capital here. So to make it happen, so you need these resources, man, material, machines, right? Then you have an implementation stage to accomplish that particular product. So you need an organization, then you need a product design, manufacturing, and the services who can take your product to the next level or to the market. So in the commercial application, basically provides a value to the customer, reward to the employee, revenue to investors, satisfaction to the founder. So basically, once you commercialize it successfully, so you will make money out of it. So you are solving the existing problem of your customer. So I can also use a word here, consumers. Uh, can anyone tell me what is the difference between consumer and customer? Friends, can anyone tell me difference
Actually,
between customer and consumer?
the consumer is end user,
Consumer
sir,
uses the product, customer pays
but
for it.
the customer may not be an end user.
Great.
Cus-
So, friends, so customer is B2B kind of thing. So, let's say a company sells their product to the wholesaler. So, in wholesaler also, you may have company gives complete product to one wholesaler, and that guy may distribute to another set of wholesaler across the value chain, where you can say every district has a wholesaler, let's say. Then that wholesaler again, gives to the retailers. So in this chain, the company to wholesaler one to wholesaler two to the retailer. So you have a B2B connection here. Then comes to the end user. So end user is called as consumer who consumes it in reality, right? So here you translate your creative thought process into an idea, an application, right? So it is from your mind to market, I would say lab to land. So from lab to land, in the sense you are bringing to the market. Then we have what are the barriers for your innovation and facilitation of integration. So so here, so how you appropriate the value from an innovation. So basically we have a barriers to be integrated. So different time orientation, interpersonal orientation, different goal orientation, formality of structure. Then we have another set of integration which are facilitators of your innovation, who are the shared values, leaders vision, budget allocation, effective communication. These all together becomes a one bunch, one cluster of integration, and the barriers becomes a one cluster of integration. When you integrate them and make them in a value added service kind of mode, so you next you take them to the market, bring as a integrate with the product quality, create value creation is the core here. Unless you create value in your product, you will not going to reach the market, because the customer is looking for the value, value in terms of giving a competitive price than the existing product. Let's say there is an existing product which is costing x rupees, and then you are bringing another product that should cost x minus rupees, plus it should have a more features or more functions or more value in that, right? That's how you have to capture the market. Then we have appropriate appropriation from the innovation. So basically, you have a value of an innovation. Valuation is also a difficult thing. So we have a session tomorrow by Professor Sudhir Kumar Jain from IIT Delhi. So we will be talking to you about the valuation of intellectual property. How we will do the valuation. So value of your innovation, and then innovators' ability to appropriate value from an innovation. This, see, an individual also can estimate the value, and you can also see how much value he is creating, right? See, when Steve Jobs was thrown out of Apple initially, when when he was initially working in the first round, first stage, he was thrown out of the Apple, and he started his another company called Fixer. We all know that Fixer was into animation, right? That was the time he was the one who created the animation movies, right? So then the Apple was sinking, and he was the one who brought Apple, and he sold the Fixer for 8 billion US dollars, and he changed all the rules of the Apple, because in the earlier days the Apple company, they have a rules like they can remove anyone. So now he changed the rules that no one can remove the CEO of the company, and then he remained the the main person. I mean the CEO forever. So here, what I am trying to say is he in the sense the innovator or the inventor can always see the value in something what he going to make. Okay. So that is very, very important. So the valuation and the appropriation comes in the form of legal protection. So you have to obviously protect your invention. Last 4 days we all are talking about when you create. So creation is okay. Everyone is doing all that, right? Since the what do you say, the evolution of human life on the earth, from that day the human brain was creating a lot of things. It was solving, he or she was solving all the problems whatever was arising at point in time. From inventing stone tool, from making caves, from inventing fire, from inventing the wheel to steam engine to flying object to whatever we see, the internet, all this mobile technology and everything. uh, so it's all the creation of human intellect. But unless you protect it, you will not going to create any value out of it, because anybody can copy it, and they will I mean they can make money out of it, not the one who invents. So you have to have a legal protection for that. Then you should have to make sure that the technology should not be such that others can easily copy it. The imitation should be, should be less for your innovation. And lead time, in the sense, the time for bringing the product to the market should be less, and at the same time, the technology should be such that it will have a more lifetime, life cycle. You can say technology life cycle, right? Then, friends, we have here uh, the integrative model for exploring how to profit from in innovation. So you always ask these W questions. We call them 6 Ws. Where, what, when, who. I mean, not 6 W. Actually, here basically you are questioning for each and every point here. So what? So the first question is what? So you see the from the environment point of view. So environment in the sense the competitive world in which you are operating, your organization is operating, you are working yourself. So it should be competitive. Uh, then you should have a macro level of, you have to see that at the macro level, and you have to create something very competitive. It should be a competitive edge in itself. Then when you come to the macro level, sorry, for the internal, internal in the sense within your organization, you should have to have a strategy. Then you have a very good structure for implementing your innovation. You should have a system in place. Then you have to have a human resource or intellectuals who can create the innovation. Then coming to how, when, who. So basically, we talk about the nature of innovation. So we have a incremental, radical, architectural, or system changing innovation. So architectural, basically we talk about something like internet, which has impacted all the businesses. It's a paradigm shift in itself. Like, I mean, because of internet, the way we do the business has been changed, right? The practices of the benchmark practices have been changed. So those kind of innovation, we call them as architectural innovation. Then you have to think about complexity, tacitness, and life cycle phases. when you see the innovation. Then so nature of innovation I have already explained. Then coming to the what, so competence creation through your innovation is very very important. That how you create it is the ability to design engines, integrate different functions, build logistic, market new ideas, manufacture those products. So it becomes your competence. Then Nikhil, can you mute all, please? Nikhil,
नहीं ये भेजा किसने था? भेजे तो दोनों है, तो मुझे दोनों को सब्जेक्टिव भी चाहिए होंगे।
so assets what you create, the intellectual property, and will also create an organization, and you will also have a skilled or intellectual manpower. Then you have a the stakeholders, and you also generate revenue through licensing your intellectual property. So then that's how you create the profit. So profit is from innovation that leads to low cost or differentiated products. So differentiated in the sense value added products you are bringing, right? So innovation, when you see the risk and the cost. So initially the risk is high because you don't know what will be going to happen. So you have to invest more into that. I mean, initially the risk is high, and the moment you start analyzing solving that problem, so the risk goes down, and it becomes minimum at the time of commercializing, because you are very much sure about your product. So because you have tested, you have done all the feasibilities. And the cost, so initially you don't have much cost to invest in, because it is basically your intellectual thought process which goes into that to create your innovation. So gradually you will be investing. So you invest first your time, and then you invest resources. So resources is nothing but the cost, so it goes up. So the risk and cost are inversely proportional in your innovation process. So, friends, here the innovation and competitive advantage. So, how you create competitive advantage? So, basically, you should have to make a innovation or a technology that should not be easy for others to copy. It should not be easy to imitate. Okay, you should have to make a difficult kind of thing, difficult for competitor to imitate. Then the next one is commercially exploitable with present capabilities. So whatever capabilities you are going to add in your innovation, that should have a more what do you say value in the market. You can feel okay, you can exploit it. Exploitation in this not in the negative sense, it is in the positive sense of saying leveraging your innovation. And then provide significant value to the customer. So significant value, the customer should feel, wow, okay, good. So whenever they see, they feel wow kind of thing. Like now, see the petrol prices are already crossed $100, right? So let's say let's say a lot of research is going on the hydrogen as a transport medium fuel, right? So there was someone in South India. You can visit some YouTube videos also available. This guy, he is challenging. He's making one, I mean, he has changed some kind of what do you say, the missions, in the sense he actually decomposes H2O into H2 and oxygen, right? So there is a process involved in that. So for that process, if you want to install that kind of machine in your car, I think he was telling it will cost you somewhere around 2 to 3 lakhs. But that 1 liter of water will give you a will give you, I mean, what do you say, it will the car can travel for more than 300 kilometers. Okay, so that is kind of innovation is working on. He is already proved, and he has actually got, there are 17 MOUs he has signed recent past, I think some 6 months before I was talking to him, I called him. So he said he has signed already 17 MOUs with the company. So if that kind of innovation comes into the market, so it is water is, I mean, it is not the water what we are using. It is, what do you say, the pure water, like completely, the H2O will be there. There won't be any minerals or there won't be any mix in that. So that water is using. Okay. So friends, if you do such kind of things, so everyone feels in the consumer feels wow, and you should have to bring something like on time. So now it is the need of the hour. If someone can make water as a transport medium, of course. I mean, I mean, this rainy season, everyone can store, a few thousands of liters of water and they can use for a year. And that too, when you use this particular technology, the hydrogen, the fuel for the transportation, he was also showing it is a very, very eco-friendly in the sense there is no, what do you say, the pollution, pollutant materials are coming out of that because you don't have a CO2 in that. It is completely H2 and burns, and then I mean there is no impact on the environment. So friends, I've just covered the first part, innovation. So I'm just moving to the licensing. So what is licensing? Can anyone tell me what is licensing?
Sir, it's like kind of permission given to someone to probably I will be the inventor, but I can't have I not have an infrastructure to manufacture and sell it. So that I'll be giving the license to someone to manufacture and sell it, and I'll be claiming a royalty.
Good, good. So in our what do you say, the layman language, if I say layman language, to explain this. So I have a building, I have a house. I have a two-story house. So on the ground floor I am staying, and first floor I am giving for rent. Right? This is nothing but licensing. So I'm renting out. So I will have terms and conditions. I will tell him that. So if you go to Bangalore, you have to pay some advance in upfront, right? If it is a 2 BHK flat in promising area, I think probably you will be asked to pay, let's say 6 months advance. That advance will be kept as a deposit, and then again every month you have to pay the rent. So like the rent is 50,000 bucks, then you have to pay 3 lakh in advance. So that is my condition. Then I will give license in, and license also the license agreement, the rent agreement, because now the tenant act is in place. So if someone is staying in the same house for 10 years, then he will become the owner. There are a lot of cases were filed in the different courts in the country, and as per that law, and the tenant who is staying in that house, if he is paying the electricity bill, all that, on his name, then by default he becomes the owner. So I'll have such a kind of license agreement drafting, like say, if he makes any damages, that will be recovered from the deposit, and I can also mention what are the things are there in the house. I may also take some pictures or photographs, and I can attach to the agreement, the license agreement, and then get it signed by the licensee or the tenant, and I will also sign. So I will have a lot of things. It is basically the bargaining power between the licensor and licensee. Who is licensor here? Friends, can anyone tell me who is licensor?
If I'm the owner, then I'll be the licensor. If I'm going to give the rights to someone else,
Great.
then I'll be the licensor.
Who is licensee?
The person who gets the rights from me.
Great. The person to whom we are giving, transferring our rights. It is partial transfer. So again, in licensing, you have a lot of things like I can give it for rent, and I may let's say another example, like in case of licensing, different forms of licensing when you talk. So let's say I have a apartment which has 5 floors, and each floor having 4 flats. So total I'll be having 20 flats in that. So I can give license, I can give to 20 tenants, right? There are 20 flats, right? So I can lease out to 20 people. I can rent out to 20 of them. Okay, and then I will collect rent from each one. Sometimes what happens, there is someone, like we call consultants, brokers or consultant. So this consultant comes to me. He said, "Sir, you license me 3 floors of your building. So I will pay this much." So I am giving him 3 floors. So 3 floors, there are 12 flats, right? 4 into 3. So this guy has taken an exclusive right for those 12 flats. So, and I may also put conditions here. I can ask him what exactly you are going to do. I will not allow you to do the business here. In the sense, you cannot give for the shop owners and to open different kind of commercial shops here. So I'll say you are allowed only to give to the families who are going to stay here. Okay, so I can put a lot of conditions, but still it is a exclusive license for him to operate those 3 floors. So he can give to any families. Okay, I mean for example, families in the sense we can say religion, caste, creed, whatever we have here in our damn country. Then he can give to anyone. I can, and otherwise I may also put a condition because in the 2 floors, let's say only one particular community is staying, so I will put him because these community people may ask me that you are not supposed to give to somebody else who are not able to mix with us with respect to custom tradition. Okay, that is understood. So I may put those conditions, but it is an exclusive right for him to operate all those 12 flats. For me also it is easy to collect money from one guy instead of going to 12, right? So that becomes an exclusive. So the other thing is, I have constructed the building and I have sold out all the flats. Though I am the owner, now I have become, only on the paper because I have constructed. That's it. But I have transferred the ownership. So whosoever have bought these flats, they have become owners, right? So that is a kind of license which is transfer of complete ownership. You can say sole license. So anyway, friends, we'll see what are the different types of license we have. So I have explained you non-exclusive. Non-exclusive in the sense it is not exclusive. Okay. So I have given the flat for only 1 year. I'll say you'll use this my flat only for 1 year. After 1 year, I will change another tenant. So if I bring this into the intellectual property or patent or intellectual property parlance with respect to the non-exclusive license. So IIT Delhi has, let's say has filed 100 patents and 50 patents were granted, and there are a few, the patents which were ready for commercialization. So being an academic institution, see government funded, publicly funded institution, generally, of course, this is an autonomous body. They can, have their own rules and regulations. When they operate with such kind of matters. But being a licensor, it is always being a licensor. It is always advised for the licensor to go for non-exclusive license, isn't it? Can anyone tell me why can't we go for exclusive license? Why non-exclusive? Friends?
Sir, if we go for an exclusive license, we'll be giving the complete rights. Probably, for example, at the initial stage of my invention cost will be around, for example, say 1,000 rupees. But later, if the demand increases, the demand of my invention increases, the cost of my invention may go to a lakh or something. So at the initial stage, if I'm going to give an exclusive license, I'll be getting binded only to that minimal royalty or whatever it will be.
Yeah.
So probably it will be like that.
Good. Well explained. So friends, I have already explained to exclusive. So I have given 12 flats. So it is up to that guy. I mean, he can sell for higher price also. He can rent out for higher price. I have fixed my price, but the one who has taken exclusive license is clever enough. He knows that there is a value for value for this invention in the market, in the minds of the consumers. So he always, being a licensee who takes the license, he always prefers the exclusive license, right? When I take exclusive license, and obviously I will be the owner for those, time period, whatever is stipulated in the license agreement. And even I can extend my, being a licensee, I always want to have more value in my bargaining. In the sense, exclusive license is the best option for me, because I will have exclusivity. I will say, okay, this patent, please give me exclusive right for the complete Asian region. So in complete Asian countries, I am the owner for time being, because the owner has given the ownership right. So I will ask for 10 years, right? And that too, nowadays, if you see the life cycle of the technology or the product. So if I say mobile as a product, I can also say it is a technology product. So I can say mobile technology. So technology life cycle is shrinking these days, right? The technology life cycle is shrinking. If you see the from wireless technology to become a walkie-talkie, it took almost more than a couple of decades. From walkie-talkie mobile to the slim Nokia mobile took almost it was somewhere, walkie-talkie was somewhere in early 90s, and Nokia mobile somewhere it came in early 2000. So 1 decade. From Nokia slim mobile to smart mobile took only 5 years. So from smart mobile you have a lot of things. Now you have Android and touch screen and everything. It took hardly couple of years, right? So the technology life cycle is changing. So with respect to this, whatever can be added in this, initially we don't have camera in this, we don't have a lot of things what we have today. So but to add those things took hardly years, not decades. So when I go for an exclusive license, so I have to see what kind of technology I am going to take the license, right? I have to see how much, what will be the, the technology life cycle for this. I will forecast, and then I will take license only for those many years. But if the owner of the technology gives me, the privilege to have more years, of course, for the same price, it's okay. So friends, here exclusive and non-exclusive. So being a licensee who takes the license, I always prefer exclusive license. Being a licensor, as the owner of the technology, owner of the intellectual property, should have to exercise first only non-exclusive license. That is the best option what you can exercise. If you are not sure about your invention, and your invention is, just kept in your maintenance, and you are not exploiting or not leveraging, and someone comes and asks, so you have to give whatever license he asks. Even you can sell it out. You have invested, let's say, few millions of rupees, or maybe 10 lakh or whatever. You have to recover that. So sole license is I'm selling completely my license, right? That is sole license. So basically, here we have three types of license. Then comes your SEP. What is SEP, friends? Can anyone tell me what is SEP? SEPs. See, in one of the classes I have already explained, there is a company called Ericsson who owns these SEPs with respect to mobile phone. So SEPs are standard essential patents. Standard essential patents in the sense, without those patents, this mobile will not work. Those are the standard patents. With that only, this mobile will take its basic form, becomes a mobile. Then of course you may have Android, OS, whatever. Those are the extra features. But to at least to receive the call, that is the basic feature for the standard thing. You need those patents. Those are called as SEP. So with respect to mobile technology, the company called Ericsson is holding the SEPs, and they also give the license, and uh, so all those companies who wants to manufacture mobiles, they have to take the SEP license. And this company, what happened was, in Indian case, they were Indian manufacturers, Indian mobile manufacturers. Can you guys can name few mobile manufacturers, Indian mobile manufacturers?
like Micromax, Lava.
Micromax, very good. Intex, Lava, right? So
Carbon.
yeah, Micromax, Lava, Intex, these companies have not took the SEP license from Ericsson, and Ericsson has filed a case against these companies in Delhi High Court, and there was a case suit was filed, exclusion Micromax for 100 crore. And then, of course, this is a SEP license open for everyone whosoever wants to make the manufacture the mobile, and the company will be very happy to give the license. So, they finally, the court has said will pay the royalties, because these licenses are based on the royalty. It's not that one-time settlement or whatever happens in other set of intellectual property. So they said we need 6% of royalty on this. And of course, these companies, obviously, when they are registered and listed, and they'll keep all the data, how many mobile sets they have made, how many they have sold, what was the profit, what was the the operational cost and all. But obviously, they will ask the royalty on the sales revenue, not on profit, right? So comes your another license called FRAND. What is FRAND? Friends, can anyone tell me what is FRAND? Someone can search on Google. What is FRAND?
Fair, reasonable, and non-discriminatory.
So it is fair, reasonable, and non-discriminatory. So what happened was in SEP, so Ericsson said you have to pay me 6% of sales revenue as royalty, but the same company was receiving only 3 to 4% of royalty in rest of the the different geographies. So then came this FRAND. So you should have to have a fair, reasonable, and non-discriminatory. So then they brought this particular agreement, or can say the license term. So as per that, so they were forced to pay 4% of their sales revenue as the royalty for the SEP company, was Ericsson here in the case of mobile technology, right? The license agreements, how you draft agreements, what will be there in the two agreement, what exactly the key things you will capture in that. So we'll see. So the license definition here, it says a license is a consent by the owner of intellectual property, or called as licensor, okay, to the use of intellectual property by the other party, called as a licensee, in exchange for money or other value. So sometimes we also have a cross licensing. The other day, one of the speakers were talking about cross licensing, right? Cross licensing is I have A, you have a B, we will exchange and we can make the final product. This is a cross license. Okay. So permits another party here through my license. So when I am giving license, so the licensee will have all these rights: make, have made, use, sell, import, copy, display, distribute, modify, make derivative works. So derivative work basically comes in copyright. So he can do all these commercial activities when I am giving the license. So I can stipulate, I may exclude some of those if I wish to exclude those things. It is up to me. I mean, me in the sense the owner of the intellectual property, a licensor. So patent license, waiver of rights to exclude. So I am including him. Earlier as a owner I am excluding all others. Now I am including my licensee, giving my rights, whatever rights I have. Copyright license, waiver of right to control. So it is a control, the expression of rights are given the copyright. So in copyright term, it is control of. Technology license may include different types of intellectual property. When I say technology license, so I will transfer know-how, know-why, even the technical things, whatever there in that particular technology. Then comes to the R&D institution which is granting a license. So R&D institutions like all the publicly funded organization like the educational institutions, all the 46 plus laboratories of CSIR, and then you have a DRDO and DRDL. There are so many BRC. These all what actually they grant. Commercialization of research results, bringing invention to the market. So obviously they will give the license for to their industry partners. Sometimes the industry partner in the sense they also become owner. They sponsor the research fund, and then the organization does the research, and then they create the intellectual property and they will be sharing. Creation of the spin-off companies based on the licensed technology developed in the university. So most of the universities, the incubation centers now in across the country, most of the the universities, even the private university, government is giving a lot of funds for starting the incubations, right? They create spin-off companies, the startups. In the context of the collaboration with R&D or industry partner for, so here the publicly funded institution, they do collaboration, use of the existing or the intellectual property what we have in the background, use or access to the research results and intellectual property developed by one party during the collaboration. So here the Tata and I mean there are many companies who they sponsor research in IIT Bombay. Here also there are a lot of companies who have given a lot of crores of rupees for doing research. So there is a sharing here. The commercialization of the jointly developed technology through grant a license to the third party or the company. I mean, so both the company they wish to give the license to the other party instead of what do you say, leveraging themselves, harvesting themselves with respect to the innovation. It all depends. If you don't have those capabilities, obviously you will give the license to the third party. Then in the framework of the sponsored research agreement, IP license of the research results may be granted by the university to a founder of the research. So the other day I told you that being a faculty, being a teacher, you too can have your own company. But within code it said you should have to develop something novel thing from your research lab, right? From your organization, from your university. Material transfer agreement, license to another R&D institution or company to use patented research material for scientific or commercial purpose, obviously. So in all the cases here, what happens is the publicly funded institution always, have an exclusive right with the institute. So even I give exclusive rights to many, but I still mention in those license documents with those companies that I am always free to use my technology for my own research purpose, or within my organization I can also commercialize it. So I can explicitly mention those things in the document. So most frequently used mean of technology transfer from universities to industry, to particularly if you say the Western world, US, where universities are obliged to retain ownership on the IP developed through publicly funded research. So obviously all the academic institutions here in country, even the we call the government research laboratories like CSIR, DRDO, DRDL, BARC and all, they always retain the ownership even though you give an exclusive license for others. So you explicitly mention that you will be allowed to use your own invention, for your own R&D, or for doing some kind of development within your organization. So the permits what we give, so IP ownership to be retained here. Development of strategic IP portfolio in the sense the portfolio of intellectual properties what you have developed, multiple options and partnership for IP commercialization. So you can exercise any kind of options with respect to multiple partnership. You basically go for the non-exclusive license, and then you have a more number of partnership. Hello. So friends, then comes your flexible negotiation context for reaching win-win situation. So you always have to win-win. Your licensee and you yourself should have to feel happy about the deal, whatever you are going to sign in the agreement. Development of building blocks for open innovation collaborations. So open innovation is something which is a happening thing. So you call others to join with you in doing the R&D, because you may not have all those kind of the expertise or capabilities or the knowledge which is required to push that invention to the next level, right? Then ROI is the main thing whenever you go for commercialization. So the key terms here, the subject matter, what exactly you license. And scope, what can you do with that? Financial, what value is it? So upgrade and maintenance, what will happen with it in the future? So I'll explain you one by one. The subject matter, what exactly you are licensing. So in the licensing agreement is always is subject matter is intellectual property, obviously. Then you have a different license, what kind of license you are giving, and we also see what technology you are transferring, either it is only the patent or you are also adding way, or you have developed a technically sound what you say, a machine or whatever, a product. So you have to explicitly mention in your license agreement. Know-how license in combination, but also without an accompanying technology component. So basically, when you say what exactly you are transferring, you have to mention everything in that. Then comes, I'm just giving a small example here. So friends, it's a smart turbine. So smart turbine is a wind and solar energy collector, highly efficient due to specific turbine design and also use of a new durable photovoltaic thin film. And then both elements of the systems are integrated by using software to measure the energy flow and to increase synergy between the wind and the solar elements. Whenever the wind ceased, the solar collection intensify. Whenever the sky is cloudy, the wind system becomes dominant. So these are the features of my smart turbine. So these are I am climbing. These are the things. So these are the feature what it has. So I'm explicitly mentioning all these features or the claims of my invention in the document, right? When you come to the value of the context of IP license agreement, so basically here it is the ownership, and if it is not finished, it is under development. Then what are the conditions? The patents are not issued. You have just filed the patent. The other day, one of our friend was asking, the moment I file the patent, can I commercialize my technology? So I'm not sure about this, because you are taking risk, because if someone else might have got the patent before you, I mean, might have filed a patent application before you and might have been not granted yet, and you will become an infringer here. So we'll also talk about that. Multiple parties, so you can give non-exclusive. Then if the crimes are pending, in the sense the patent is not granted yet, so you have to mention about all that. Being a licensee, I will ask all these doubts. I have to be clear. Get clarified about all this. So then what you can do with it, the scope. So scope already explained with respect to the license, exclusive, non-exclusive, sole, and then I will mention about the time. So the patent life is 20 years. So I will give license only for 1 year, 5 year, whatever I feel like. It is being a owner, licensor. I am the one who decides, or otherwise the licensee we can offer more money, and then I can give, with respect to time I can increase it. So it all depends on the bargaining, and at the end of the day, it is the value of the intellectual property which can take care of all this, Then territory. So the exclusive license, even if I say non-exclusive, then there is no territory for me. I mean, I can exercise anywhere in India. Okay, because it is a non-exclusive and anybody can take license from me. So I am not bothered about that. But otherwise, in exclusivity, we'll say give me license for the complete, European region or for the Asian region. Field of use where you are using. So let's say my technology is meant for, because in my research I found only one application. But while using the technology, there may be many other applications where it can be used. So I'll restrict those, licensees by saying that you will be allowed to use only for this particular application. And in over a period of time, I found more application because of using the technology. Obviously, I will have a chance to charge more or can ask for more royalty and add those applications to the existing agreement, right? So field of use you have to mention, and then right to cyber license. What happens? I have given license to somebody, and that guy can give license to some other guy. So it happens in case of contracts. Let's say the Mumbai Metro Rail Corporation, MMRD. Actually, they are constructing the rail project. So let's say L&T has got the project for doing complete underground tunneling. Let's say. So what L&T does, they give sub-license to some other contract. Okay, those contracts again give. So you have to mention explicitly you are not allowed to give the sub-license. What happens in that case? The quality of the product goes down because every contractor will add on their profit margin and end of the day. So that's how we are getting, in the government system, whatever the government spends, announces in the budget, let's say 100 crore. The end, the end consumer may receive 10% of it in case of quality I am talking about, right? The scope of the rights will influence significantly the price, the scope, whatever you're talking about, time, territory, field of use, right to supply. So all these conditions will have an impact on my final price or the money what I can charge, right? The financial terms, so how I am expecting money, I can ask lump sum first and then can say you can pay me 5% of royalty, or you have different terms and conditions here. So lump sum I can ask, and I can say, okay, 1 year you pay me in upfront payment. I can say that. And installment payment, I can say every month you have to pay me this much. I can say you pay me, royalty at the end of your financial year. I can say you give me a share, you give me a equity in your company. I can also have a combination of all this, combination permutation of all this, the lump sum amount, upfront payment, installment payment, or royalty, whatever, right? I can have all those combinations. Then maintenance and what will happen with maintenance and other things? I can say warranty, guarantee, all that. We can talk about that. So what kind of support I am going to give? What kind of warranty, being a licensor, I am giving, or being a licensee, you will ask a lot of things. In case of your patent is revoked, what happens to me? Because we don't know, patent can be abandoned or revoked at any point in time. If someone comes with the evidence or some kind of literature, and my patent will be revoked, will be abandoned, then my licensee will be in trouble, right? So we'll have all those terms and conditions here. These are from the HR point of view, how soft you can have. 1 minute, friends. Hello, sir. Sir, good morning. Class lo, I'll call you back in half an hour. Then so these are the things from the soft communication side. So to have a good relationship with your licensee, you should have to have a cordial relationship. So you make him warm, feel warm at your office, and do all this bargaining and everything, right? Then you should be prepared, know your stand, know your background with respect to technology, market size, region, so that you can have a better bargaining with respect to your technology. Then you have to know what kind of product can be made, field of use, what is the importance of your intellectual property or the patent or the technology you are licensing. So you have to do all that background, what do you say, analysis for that, so that you can have a better understanding about bargaining, with respect to the price, what you are going to, ask from your licensee, right? Then, so you can undergo an MOU. So these are different kind of MOUs: expression of interest, terms and condition to be negotiated, binding and non-binding, and then also go for, in case of dispute arises. So what is the jurisdiction for, the settlement? So you can mention everything. Let's say being in Mumbai, I will always say all the disputes will be resolved in the Mumbai court. It may be a district court, maybe it will go to the high court, right? Then comes your compulsory license. So I'll just spend 5 minutes for this. So basically, friends, intellectual property with the advent of trade-related intellectual property rights, TRIPS. So compulsory license has become, a hot topic in the TRIPS agreement. The background of this particular, the agreement TRIPS was that, pre 1970. See, Indian Patent Act can be, divided into pre 1970 and post 1970. So pre 1970, so most of the Indian laws, including the intellectual property law, most of the things were just borrowed from, the Britishers, because they were ruling, and obviously their laws were there here in India for almost for more than a century, right? So the Indian Patent Act allows only product patents. So product patent in the sense your final product is given the patent, not the process. So in 1970, if you say that point in time after post-independence, hardly for a decade, couple of decades, people were, if you see the pharmaceutical products, the drugs mainly, the price was very, very high. If you compare, the paracetamol capsule where we'll get a strip of 10 capsule for, let's say, 20 bucks. And those days, one capsule was costing 1 rupee. And you see the value of rupee today, if you compare with 1970, where the gold price was hardly, say, 2000, 1500 for 10 gram. And today it is 50,000, right? So the government of India has amended Indian Patent Act, and they brought process, patent in place, and product patent. Obviously, all the Western countries were having patent on those products, final products, and they were charging high price on those products. So that was the time, the pharmaceutical evolution. The company started in India, like basing Hyderabad and Pune. There were now we can say around 400 pharmaceutical companies of medium and large size are there now in Pune and Hyderabad. And India has become an exporter for the pharmaceutical product to all the developing nations on the globe, even including USA also. India, exports a lot of life-saving drugs and pharmaceutical product. Then what happened, like these companies, they did reverse engineering to all the existing product patents, and they have found a new process, and they were not infringing the existing product patent process, and they have invented. So inventing new process, reverse engineering is very easy, right? So you have to spend only 5% of what was spent by the original owner or the patent holder of that particular, the patent. So then, as for the WTO trade relations and all, we were exporting to so many countries wherever there is no patent on that particular product. Okay. So the other day I was also explaining you about the customs seizures and all, where the transportation, the particular product touches the country where the patent is there, but the product was not meant for that country. Then also they've seized. Then all these developed countries, the pharma lobby is a very stronger one, right? So they actually force WTO to restrict countries like India in copying or doing reverse engineering of those inventions and all. Then they brought trips, in Uruguay around 1987. Dr. Gauri was explained about you all that. So they said you will have only product patents, and they made trips as a compulsory thing for all those member countries to implement. For the developing country like India, it was 2005. From to January 1st, 2005, we have become, compliant to the TRIPS agreement, and the underdeveloping country 2010. Now, all the TRIPS members globally, they all are compliant for TRIPS agreement. So these countries, they have asked, in case of life-saving drugs and all, pharmaceutical product, the company A who comes from the developed country and they keep very high price, and our customers or our people who are very poor can't buy those products, then what is the use of having such kind of technology or such kind of invention in place? So that's where this compulsory license was brought. So compulsory license basically talks about the usage of particular technology, like industrial application is there, but obviously you have to show the use also. Let's say, with respect to compulsory license, so I have made a product which is a life-saving drug, and I am not using, using in the sense I am actually putting my product in the market, but there are hardly 2-3% of those consumers are buying. Let's say out of 100 patients who are meant for my product, there are only 3% are affordable, like they are, I mean, well off to buy my product, because my product is very, I have kept a very high price. I don't, I mean, because I come from a developed country, let's say from USA, so I keep, as for the US norms, I'll keep in some dollars, let's say. But in India, the cost of living is different. In the US, cost of living is different. So we have to take those factors into account. So, friends, here in compulsory license, I want to just share with you, the section 3D of TRIPS agreement, who talks about the compulsory license. So, I have already explained you, keeping the public health in mind, you should have to have a, being a patent holder, I have to serve the average market, a sizable market. So whenever you say sizable, out of 100 patients, at least 50, above 50% of the patients should buy my product. Then it is reasonably priced, right? So here, so there is a case, it was a landmark judgment in the Indian history with respect to compulsory license. This was the case, went up to Indian Supreme Court, and finally Supreme Court has agreed for compulsory license. So there was different phases in this. So there is a Hyderabad based company called Natco Pharma, and Bayer, you all know Bayer Carpo Science is a German giant pharma company, but more of here in India, we know Bayer also, plays in the agriculture, related, these pesticides and fertilizers. Bayer is also there in that. So Bayer has invented you, the invention, the final product named as Naxavar, which is sorafenib and carcinoma. It's a combination of that. There are some chemicals compound. So Naxavar basically extends the life of cancer patient. Okay, it's meant for cancer, so it extends the life of the cancer patient, but it will not cure 100%. So that was the drug all about. And Bayer was serving only 3% of the market in India, and above that they are not manufacturing in India. They are manufacturing in Germany, or they are importing to India. I mean, Indian office of Bayer, they are importing here, and they are putting in the market. And so all the record says they are serving only 3% of the market. So Natco Pharma got all this information, collected all the information. They requested under the TRIPS agreement as per the compulsory license clause for taking the license from Bayer. So Bayer refused to give the license, and then they moved to intellectual property appellate board, which is there in Chennai. It is equivalent to High Court status with respect to intellectual property right. So IPAB, I think, he gave in favor of Natco Pharma. Again, they went to Bombay High Court. Then there also dispute was not settled. Then went to Indian Supreme Court, and Supreme Court, as per the agreement of TRIPS, so they granted the compulsory license. This was the first one in Indian case. So basically here the Naxavar was priced at 2.84 lakh per patient per month. So 1 month capsule will cost you somewhere around 3 lakh bucks. And Natco Pharma brought this price to 8,000, that is around 9,000. You can say, see how much variation in the price. Of course, Natco Pharma might have invested some millions of dollars in inventing this molecule, but it doesn't mean that you can, recover everything in only 1 month. So that's how they are priced, and it is very, very abnormal. So as for the TRIPS agreement, the license was granted to Bayer, to Natco Pharma to exercise this. So friends, I'll stop it here. Now I'll open for the question answer. So you can ask me questions, friends. Do you have any kind of question, you can ask me. Not necessarily with respect to this particular class, but anything related to intellectual property in general also, if you want to ask.
Yes, sir told us that 18 months are the time when patent are rewarded. And patent is rewarded. But now madam said time is different.
No, who is speaking? It is
Sir, Vinita.
Vinita Chauhan. Madam, it is not 18 months. It is like, you may get in 18 months, but it may also go up to 3-4 years. Now the average time is, see, there is no standard time that you will get the patent only in 18 months. 18 months is in kind of cases like you have developed, a medicine for curing corona, COVID. Okay, so
Yes,
in
sir.
that kind of cases, you may get your patent in 18 months. Okay, but the general thing is that they will be having accumulated a lot of patent documents to be examined, and it takes time. So if your technology is such a kind of technology like curing corona, obviously you will get even before that. So it depends. So now in olden days the average time was some 10 years. 14. I have seen patents which were granted in 10, 12 years, and by the time the technology has become obsolete. Right?
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. Any more questions, friends? Shall we wind up for the lunch break? I think it is 1:15 now.